Hello everyone, it's Angie here at Beads and Plenty More. Today I thought I'd show you how to do this set with the necklace here and matching earrings. Got them right here. So I'm just going to move this off screen here to make some space. And I'll start with the earrings to show you how to do those. So what I've got here is I've got a feather, an eye pin, beads. I've got 4mm Chinese crystal rondelles. And I've got these clay beads, these clay discs, and I've got shepherd hooks to put on the top. So for a complete supply list that you can screenshot, it'll just be at the end of the video here. So you can just screenshot it to get your full supply list to go shopping. So what I'm doing first is I'm just using my needle nose pliers to just bend that circle off enough to be able to hook my charm on my feather. And then I've got one that's already threaded up here. All I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the beads nice and tight, and I'm going to fold over the wire right tight to the beads. So once I've got that, I know my wire is just a little bit too long. It only needs to be about 1 centimeter, about 3/8 of an inch in length. So making 2 earrings, you probably want to cut them both at the same time so you get them the same length. So you get the circle size the same. But then I'm going to switch over to my round nose pliers. I'm just going to hold right at the end of the wire. I don't want to be able to feel the wire on this side, and I've got my bead hanging down. So I've got the beads hanging down. I'm going to come back around on top. So I'll turn this sideways so you can see it. So you circle it around until you make your circle. And then you can just open the circle up a little bit and hook in your shepherd hook. And then just close it back up. And that's your earring done. And I see I've got the feather hanging backwards on that one. I wasn't paying attention to which way I hooked the shepherd hook on. So I could just take the shepherd hook off and change it, or I can just take a second pair of pliers and turn my loops. Until I get it the right direction. So it needs to go 90 degrees to that one. So there's the earring done. So I'll just move those off the camera here. And we'll move on to the necklace. So I did a bit of pre-threading because I didn't think you'd want to watch me thread all the beads. This is Barb's design. I actually didn't design this one. And when she threaded her beads, she actually did more of a white pattern in there. I did mine just opposite, one black, one white. So you can see that it does make a little subtle difference there. So when we did the feather up, we actually used a split ring. And the reason that you'd use a split ring over a jump ring, a split ring is like a small key ring, is that it's more durable on the, it's not going to slip loose from the tiger wire. So it will keep that feather on, and if you get a good tug on the feather, it won't fall off. So then I'm threading on the 0.018 tiger wire here, and I've threaded up my pattern with the 10 beads here, and then there's a Chinese crystal rondelle here, separating them. So there's 4 units of 10 with the Chinese crystal rondelles in between on each side. So I'll just take my temporary end off and we'll talk about how to add the chain end on. So this necklace, when it's finished, it's about 18 inches. I've cut the chain already. These are 5.5 inches long each side. And then I put the clasp in the middle, and we'll talk about jump rings with the ends to attach here. So I went ahead and added my clasp ahead of time. So I've got my 2 crimp beads on there already. I'm going to use a wire guardian here. So I'm coming up the one side of it, down the other side of it. And at this point, oftentimes you would hook your clasp in. We have a jump ring that opens up, so I don't need to bother to do that today. I'm just going to squeeze it in so that it sits a little tighter. And on this side, I can just bring my beads up to it. I don't have to worry about getting everything nice and tight. So you see me going through the 2 crimp beads, and I also go through some of my beads at the same time. So I'm going to pull everything good and tight Make sure there's no gaps in here. And then just come in and squish those 2 crimp beads. And we'll just keep threading beads over the tail end here. And take the other temporary end off. These springs are really handy. And I'll grab the other wire guardian here. And same deal, it's being attached to something with a jump ring, and jump ring opens up, so I'm not going to worry about attaching anything into it right now. I'm just going to go back through my crimp beads. Let's see if I can get it to go through. Back through my crimp beads and through some of my other beads. I might just go through that whole section of clay beads here. Get the tail end. Now I've got a gap here, and I've got a gap up at the top here with extra thread. So I'm going to pull so that all of my gap is in the top part, or in the end piece. There's no gaps through my beads. That tail end slipped out, so we'll just pull it back in. So all of the extra thread is up in here, and then we just pull that nice and tight. Just going to squeeze this wire guardian in a little bit. I find if you don't squeeze them in, they sit a little bit loose against the crimp beads, so I like to make them nice and tight. Okay, so we got that nice and tight. Just come in and squish those 2 crimp beads with my needle nose pliers here. And then I'm just going to come in and trim my tail end off with a pair of wire cutters. Trying not to cut the clay bead while I'm doing that. Okay, so we've got the middle part of the necklace done. And that's where these jump rings come in. So this jump ring is actually open somewhat already, so I'm just going to come in and open it just a little further. So I'm just bending it off center. Hook this. Now, this feather has a top side and a bottom side because it's got a bit of a curve. So when I put the clasp on, I want to think about whether I'm right-handed or left-handed, because which hand am I going to do that clasp in? So I think it's probably going to go this way. One of those things you don't always think about. So we'll just hook that. I've got my 2 ends hooked. I'm just coming back in. And one of the questions I often get asked is how to make sure the jump ring's closed. Well, I'm going to take it past where it needs to go, so they're actually overlapped a little bit, and I'll just pull it back, and it's pressurized when I do that. So it's sitting against itself, and it will stay closed. So same deal on the other side. I'll just hook this, hook the end of the chain, jump ring 1, jump ring, or plier 1, plier 2, and I'm just wiggling it back and forth and pushing in. And then we just got it closed there. So that's the necklace done. So I hope you enjoyed that and you have a good day.